Good, I think. Let me turn this up because I can't really hear myself.
Good morning, Vietnam.
You like doing that?
Good joke.
Man. Dude, we've taken time off. You've been saving
that one for the podcast.
You've been saving the good ones for this one.
That one's straight Robin Williams. And to end that one, go and kill myself after this.
Very cool.
Yeah, very awesome.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have not been here for a while. I'll go first. There's one thing that I've been holding off on asking you because I wanted to hear about it. I was gone. You were left alone in our friend's home, and you just threw a party there. Go.
Yeah, so Friday night, we had like a chill night over there. Whatever. It ended up being one of our buddies came into town from Chicago. But then I woke up in the morning a little bit drunk still.
At their place.
At their place with our buddy from Chicago. And he goes, I have so much shit to do today. I go, but come on. We got a day drink. It'll be fun.
So he's in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and
but
he's planning
on... But he's got errands to run.
So he has to what? See other people?
He's got to like take his car in for... an oil change.
This is Tyler Voss.
Yes, and he has to do taxes.
Yeah.
Very important things to do. The oil change, whatever.
Yeah.
Those are actually fake. You can go for those.
Yeah, you can just.
Yeah, you can
doesn't
go
matter.
thousands and thousands.
And taxes, you can just keep. For one, you don't need
what
to file them. What are they
going to do? Find you?
No, yeah, it's no big deal.
Fucking, who cares? Throw it off to the side. Me, on the other hand, I had mine done immediately because I was in a pinch.
Right. Yeah, same. Same.
But him, on the other hand, he's rich.
Got money.
He's rich, so
he can pay. He's got to wait.
Yeah.
Right.
No, not to wait. He has to pay, period. Yes.
Wait. No, that's not true.
100% true.
What?
Yes. Yeah, he's too rich.
No, they take it. Taxes. Hey. Don't taxes get taken out of?
Hey, man. You don't understand how it feels to be rich.
Yeah, I guess a poor brain.
You and I are just a couple poor children, fucking asking for scraps.
He has to pay taxes?
Dude.
That's not how that works.
100%. Dude, when he...
I'll call him after this.
100%. Okay. When you order chicken wings, right?
Yeah.
You ask for the scraps. Like the half-eaten ones. Mm-hmm. He orders full chicken wings.
I know. He gets the chicken with the fucking... He gets cuts off the head.
Yeah. Yeah. He gets the full chicken. Yeah, so he had to do taxes, and I go, come on, you don't got... He goes, all right, fine, I'll delay the taxes, but we have to go get the oil change.
Right.
He takes me with him. It ends up being like a 20-minute wait. He goes, fuck it, we're not doing the oil change. He doesn't do either of his errands.
Yeah.
Our friends, on the other hand, had prior engagements for a birthday party for our friend.
So they leave you in their home thinking leave at your own leisure.
No, we come back and we're like, what are you guys doing? Let's have a couple drinks. They go, we're literally only going to be here for like 45 minutes. I go, yeah, but what are we going to do? Hang out at my house? I can't have T-Voss by my house.
Right.
It reeks like shit in this place.
Little aside. I come over here right now, and it's fun to go to anybody's home and to check out this thing. This is how they live, right?
Yeah. It hasn't changed. In months.
No, it's not that. I like to bring up the things that I do notice, things that have changed.
Yeah.
Just a completely eaten Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Yeah.
Canister. That's so much ice cream. I have never in my entire life eaten a full one of those.
That wasn't a one city, no. Those 2 cities.
But you just left it out and would drink it like soup?
Yes. Well, it was ice cream the first day.
Yeah.
Milkshake second.
Well, that's true.
That's how I always live by.
Okay.
So we come back and they got like 45 minutes to hang out with us. But at this point, I'm already committed. I want to hang out with people, day drink. The issue is I got no place to go.
Right. They're not I'm not
going to bring them here.
I know there's milky ice cream everywhere.
There's milky ice cream everywhere. There's semen on the walls.
Sure.
It's fucking covered head to toe in shit.
Yep.
Like, one of the rooms stays closed at all times because that's my pooping room.
You used to say, I was like, why don't you invest in like a vacuum? And you're like, I want to invest in rent first. I want to start making money. You got money now.
I'm debating on buying a maid to get me back on even footing.
Sure.
Because at this point, everything's too far gone. I need somebody to come here and clean it up.
Sure.
So I don't want to have people over here, and I want to hang out with people. So I just started inviting people over to Beth and Tyler's.
So are they aware that you are inviting people over?
I'm telling them that I'm hanging out with these people, yes.
Okay, so are they taking it as fact or jokes?
Who knows?
Okay.
At this point...
So they're leaving to their birthday party.
No, they had errands to run before the birthday party.
Okay, well, they're leaving in 45.
They're leaving in 45. 2 of our friends show up. Good.
Do they show up before?
They're gone. They
go, we're leaving,
Yes.
and then 2 more people show up that you invited.
Yes, and they both go, Trevor and Reagan, go, so where are Beth and Tyler? And
Right.
I go, you realize T-Voss is rich. He bought their house.
Right.
Like, it's
He
his
owns
house.
this place now.
It's his house now.
Right.
So we just keep on saying that. Don't give them a real answer. They come back from their errands for like 15 minutes. T-Rog's able to get like a singular beer with us.
Sure.
And he's got to go.
Right.
We then go, you know what? We want to get Mexican food. But I was like, I kind of just wanted like drink like here.
Okay.
It's more homey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's more homey.
Yeah, I mean, we got the place for the day.
Yeah, we got the place for the day. So we go and pick up 2 taco 12 packs.
Yeah.
Which was a hassle.
From Taco Bell.
From Taco Bell, we want to do 12 soft shell, 12 crunchy. They can't do that. They can only give us 6. And then they go, we can give you 6 soft shells. And we go, all right, that's fine. Give us a half and half and another half and half.
Okay. that's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, we run into another milkshake.
That's what a good loophole.
Yeah. And
wait, you can only give us 6 hard shell and only 6 soft shell? Double it.
Yeah, double it. Yeah. And I go, it wasn't the hard shell issue.
What was the issue?
It was the tortilla shell, the soft shell. We go, all right, that's fine. We'll get 6 and 6 in one.
Yeah.
But only give us one 12 pack. We'll be back around.
Yeah.
They go, no, we are on a shortage of tortilla shells. Like, we can't have you do that.
Oh, okay. Well,
and we go,
that's what we're doing.
I go, that's what we really want to do, though. And they're like, hey, you're making this way more difficult. Do you want the tacos or not? We go, all right, fine. We get the 2 taco 12 packs. One of our
so they do it for you.
No, we just end up getting
the 112.
Only 6 soft shell in total, and then we get 18 hard shells.
Okay, well at least you get 18.
Well, we had 24 in total.
You wanted
wanted 12 soft shell, 12 hard shell.
Gotcha.
We only got 6 and 18 because they could only offer us 6 soft shell.
Yeah.
And this was our loophole into having Mexican food because then we went and got our own margarita mix.
Yeah.
Because our buddies got a margarita at the house.
At the home that you've commandeered.
Yes.
They now have a Margaritaville margarita maker.
Which is the
your
best
favorite
thing.
thing.
Yes, I love it. I love margaritas in general and frozen margaritas. I think that on the rocks, people that are just like, oh, I prefer on the rocks.
You like it when the ice is crushed up.
You should get hit with a shovel.
Opposed to getting a blender, you're like, just give me the Margaritaville.
Well, the Margaritaville, it's next level. It crushes the ice and then it shreds it.
Right.
Like it gives you the perfect consistency. Mm-hmm. And so the whole day we're just making margaritas, fucking dancing,
sure,
playing some Mexican music.
So right now it's the 4 of you,
just the 4 of us
eating the tacos.
Reagan eats 2 tacos.
Yeah.
T-Voss maybe has like 4. I have like 5.
Sure.
But Trevor, all 24 are gone.
Right.
Do the math.
So Trevor ate the rest
Trevor's
of it.
just slamming them, and he goes, at some point, he goes, oh, man, I've eaten over 10 tacos. Yeah. I go, yeah, you smashed them, big guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very funny just watching that guy. And it was like, without like thought, like it was just one down, another one down.
Sure.
Like head down, fucking, like headphones in, world out type.
Yeah.
And I'm just whipping up margaritas left and right. Gets to a point, it's like 3 p.m. and our buddy who ate the tacos, he's a bigger guy.
Sure.
Can drink a bunch.
Yeah.
This is his first time being able to get drunk with us.
Maybe 240.
Yeah, a bigger guy.
Yeah.
And he, every time that we make a margarita, we have a red Solo cup, me and him, and he pours tequila in the top of it to fill it all the way to the brim.
Very cool.
Even though I had already put tequila in it, which come to find out, this was surprising to everybody else. I knew already that the tequila mix that you buy,
You're right. The margarita mix has tequila in it.
has a little bit of tequila.
Sure.
If you make those all day and you drink 40 of them, you might get buzzed.
Sure.
So you do have to add tequila.
Right.
I was adding a lot of tequila.
Yeah.
And he was topping them off. Then our buddy Manfred comes in.
Sure.
He shows up, and he always brings a party.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who bought the Margaritaville.
He bought the Margaritaville. I'm whipping up margaritas then for all of us.
Sure.
Our buddy also the next day was so confused on how I got so much more trash than him. He was drinking from like a little whiskey glass, and I had like a red Solo cup. A red Solo cup, if you fill it up a bunch with like half and half,
Like a 16 ounce versus 12 ounce.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to go drink for drink with me because he was like, this guy's wilding out at this house. I don't want to be in charge.
Who is this guy you're talking about?
Theodore.
Gotcha.
And he's like, I don't want to be in charge as well.
Right.
We're just doing this day drinking
If
thing
we,
together.
the idea is if you guys are so far past like responsibility, like
Yeah.
now it's like the blood's in somebody else's hands.
Yeah, pretty
Gotcha.
much. And so we got one.
So now you have invited 3 people to this house without the owners.
Yes.
Okay.
And this one does not see the owners till way later.
Okay.
they are in the midst of a birthday party that they fully intend on staying for the whole time.
Right.
And probably would have even stayed longer if they didn't continuously say, I'm assuming at that birthday party, yeah, James is throwing a party at our house right now. We gotta go home. Mm-hmm. I then had already made plans with Brandon to hang out there.
Sure. Invite him on over.
And I call him up. I go, what you doing? He goes, I'm playing Mario Kart with Jordan and Ashley and Sabrina. I go, oh, nice. You guys want to come and play? You guys want to play poker? We're playing some poker and drinking margaritas. I then invite 4 other people to
Did they all come?
All of them came.
So you have Brandon, Sabrina, Ashley, and also Jordan.
Yes.
So then we are currently 7 extra people.
7 people.
Okay.
On top of 2 people that also don't live there.
Right. I mean, obviously,
Theodore.
yeah. So yeah, for a grand total of 9 people.
Yes.
Okay.
We just started playing poker. Before they showed up, the gang, we were playing Life. We played a little bit of Life, just slamming margaritas.
Yeah, sure.
As you do.
Yeah.
As soon as they showed up, we're playing blackjack.
Yeah.
We're still hot off of Vegas, so we're excited.
Right.
Me and T-Voss are telling stories about Vegas. Everybody's loving them.
Right.
How crazy we went.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It then fires everybody up at the table to start doing what we do. Or what we did in Vegas, which is split in 10s.
Right.
Fucking doubling down on 13s.
It's all exciting.
Jordan's an avid poker.
Oh, right. So he's the guy who
Yes.
He's he does the math. He knows the analytics. He knows the plays.
Yes. We end up bankrupting the casino.
Right. Because they're just hitting?
Well, T-Voss was the casino. And we played all the chips were the exact same amount. And we just start.
Probably shouldn't have played that way.
Yeah, no, we all just start all in, and we go through I'm pretty sure that there's 2 chip sets there. He kept on refilling, and we just were taking them for everything he had. The casino, if we would have went to Potawatomi that night, we would have shut him down.
Yeah.
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 It was hitting.
Mm-hmm.
We were all in and just fucking split it. I was throwing, there was a moment where Brandon was down and out. I gave him fucking 10 chips to double down.
Yeah.
I said, here's 10 chips, double down on that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And
you always have
did it work?
It hit. Yeah. Everything. There was not a thing that we were doing that wasn't hitting.
I mean, that's what it is. That's what it's about, man. It's about splitting 10s. It's about doubling on soft 17s. That's how you play the game.
Absolutely. Then the party took a turn.
Okay.
For the excitement.
Oh, great.
Manfred throws on WWE Raw.
Right.
It is John.
It's live?
It's a throwback. It's a John Cena versus Triple H.
Doesn't he go
we do
you guys want to see the greatest WWE of all time? Is that how he presents it?
Well, I'm pretty sure that he whispered. I have no idea how this conversation went. I'm pretty sure that he whispered it to T-Voss. He goes, hey, do you want to watch John Cena versus Triple H? It's a phenomenal match. And T-Voss goes, absolutely. It turns into the original 5 of us and like all 9 of us were there, but the original 5 of us were just screaming
Sure.
at the pedigree. You can't see him. Every time John Cena's doing this in front of his face, we're just.
It's a recorded event.
It's a recorded.
You guys know the. You guys know you can look at the results.
We could have Googled the results.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. We end up just going crazy. We go,
Right.
you can't see him. Pedigree. Fucking, we're going crazy. And through the table, what the fuck? We're getting hyped up over this. Then magically an hour later, I go, all right, guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. I just go on the couch and snooze. I just pass out.
You've given up on this party. You've started.
Yeah, at this point, the owners are home. I'm like,
okay, so they got
it's
back.
It's in good hands now.
Yeah. How did they come back? Were they aware that there's 9 people in their home?
I don't remember them coming back.
So, yeah, that's probably that really would cap off the end of the story.
Yeah.
To know what's the result.
No,
of it.
they knew for sure that we were having people because they called us and they were like, all right, so who's all over?
Yeah.
Showed them and they were like, all right, well, we're on our way back home from Racine. And they just, like I said,
It's like a 30-minute drive.
I'm pretty sure that they were saying the whole time, like, yeah, we got to get back to James.
Are they at Beth's sisters, like friends kind of a thing? Are they at her sisters?
It's at her sister. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
For her mom. Yeah, and then it was very funny because then we also had the next weekend a little wedding party for that their sister threw,
okay,
which was the maid of honor.
Yeah,
and I just kept on going. Yeah, we went through a lot of tequila last weekend. I threw a rager. I threw a huge party at this house. It was a nice
noticed
Margarita
you keep buying the Jose Cuervo
Yeah.
as it's the cheap tequila, but I guess it gets the job done for you, huh?
Well, the Jose Cuervo is on the Margarita mix. Like,
So you got to go your brand loyal.
yeah, brand loyal.
Gotcha.
It's like I'm not going to wear a flipping Nike hat with Adidas shoes.
Amen, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Which is actually a predicament that I'm currently in. I
bought
Adidas shoes. And,
well, I guess I missed out. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you saw those bottles. That was from 2 parties,
Right.
and one of those parties was legitimately just me and T-Rock.
I know.
There is nobody else.
Yeah, you didn't need to tell me that.
And that was no. Actually, to be fair, everybody was having a little bit of the margaritas. I made one for Stephanie. She goes, ooh, ooh. She goes, it's.
Did she come over too?
Not on
Different. For the bridal.
for the
thing.
bridal party. Yeah. That night, I actually downplayed that. Actually, everybody was kind of drinking margaritas. Sarah and Stephanie only each had one.
So I have a question.
Yes.
You told me over the phone the other day. I think I'm going to start cutting back on drinking.
Yes.
It's not the first time you've told me. It probably won't be the last.
Yeah.
Where do you stand right now?
After these bachelor parties and weddings, I fully intend on it.
Well, you have a full summer of weddings, probably.
I just got one more after this one.
Do you?
Yeah, just 5.
Okay, so that's 2, right? But
I'm also in both wedding parties, as are you.
Right.
So like,
and
therefore,
and a bachelor party you got coming.
Yes.
So it's
quite a bit.
still a little bit to go, and then there's holidays in there. There's 4th of July.
There's my birthday.
Here's your birthday.
Yes.
It's not an easy road ahead to cut
well,
back.
Because August there's nothing.
Unless we want to do beer Olympics.
Yeah, which we might have to do, but I'm assuming
And then September, what? What are you gonna do? Not drink on Labor Day?
that is true.
And then what? Halloween comes.
Yeah,
and then you're gonna have to drink for Halloween.
I do think that I am going to take like a month layoff because this is your sole reason on. You haven't.
Yeah,
really,
I can say the take. If you want.
shouldn't say that you have quit drinking.
No,
you've never quit drinking.
No, of course not.
But you've taken a step back from what I do.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it started.
There was a time where you were the Batman to my Batman. Now you're clearly a Robin.
No, I'm more of like a Superman,
No.
Yeah.
No.
Just inherently good. Always wants to do the right thing.
You're kind of like the Riddler.
And with all my great might, still can't accomplish everything.
No. This is not how it's supposed to turn out.
It was just my like, we didn't go to college, but our college life,
Yes.
I couldn't really recall specific stories. I could just kind of like remember feelings or like general like, yeah,
It was a good weekend.
sure.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I would have people tell me like long in-depth stories, and then they're like, then you said this crazy thing, and like I had no recollection of it for 3-4 years, and like that didn't happen in high school or like middle school or grade school. Like I could recall
8 years, baby.
so like I could go back and recall like, oh, do you remember this weekend that we did this, or like, you know, that. And I obviously memories fade, but it was like so like I was like, that was just like 2-3 years ago, and it's probably because we just like heavily drank every weekend, sometimes twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week,
Sometimes a whole week straight.
right?
Yeah.
So I was like, that isn't good, and I want to like stop doing that. And I'm not even like I'll still get blacked out, wake up at like 1 a.m., run to the bathroom. Oh no, phew,
Yeah.
make it, and then wake up the next morning hearing Beth screaming at Tyler Rogney, you need to fucking clean this up. Their toilet is just covered. I never opened up the lid.
Well, to you going, oh, I made it scot-free. I made it to the toilet.
And nobody knew.
And me just going, what the heck? And blowing the lid literally on the whole thing.
I mean, yeah, it was just their toilet was completely covered in orange.
Yeah.
So, like, that'll still happen from time to time. I'm not saying, like, I'm not some saint, you know?
Yeah.
But
some of us are built different.
Opposed to doing that every weekend.
For the last 8 years, baby.
I'm just, I'm not really in for it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to hit me recently where, like, it was, in all honesty, it was, I forgot how many times. There's, like, legit people that I know nothing about that I feel like we hang out with a bunch.
Okay, yeah.
And that's just, like...
Yeah. I live with one of those people.
Yeah. Solely because I just feel like I'm constantly blackout drunk.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
What do you do when I'm not here?
Yeah,
What do you got going on in your life?
Yeah. So I just really want to take a step back where I'm like sober living. Or maybe I'll just pick up smoking weed again.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, don't get crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to be fully sober.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a dork.
Okay, so another thing in the hiatus,
Yes.
one of the last podcasts we did, I showed you, or I sent you the Sam Hyde documentary with Idubbbz. Yeah. Do you want to talk about this?
If I can remember, yeah.
Essentially, I'm going to spoil it now. You've watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And on both sides. Have you watched both sides?
I have not watched both sides, but I watched enough to kind of get it.
Okay.
At least I feel like it is.
You don't have to watch the full Sam Hyde one.
Because it's like 2 hours, and I'm like... Ugh.
If you just watch him literally in his room, like in his podcast set...
Talking about it? That's all I watch. That's all I watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody's listening to it, I recommend you watching the Idubbbz Sam Hyde documentary. It's called like Getting Away with It. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic look into somebody I didn't know existed before. Mm-hmm. Essentially, he is a comedian who had an Adult Swim show.
Yes.
That it got canceled, and he was canceled because he was like propagating like white supremacy and like Ku Klux Klan shit, school shootings, like alt-right things, and I don't think he believes any of it, but he takes it.
It's supposed to be parody.
Yes, it's always supposed to be parody, but he brings it so close to the line that sometimes you're like, you're just kind of donating to the Ku Klux Klan here.
Yeah, you are fully supporting a racist organization.
So Idubbbz goes into the den of the beast, right?
Yes.
And you're going through this journey, learning about Sam Hyde's like setup. He has this office set up, all these like minions or like workers that he has.
Yes.
He has this girlfriend character, and you're just like, dude, this is like a fucked up life. Like, this guy has really fallen off the deep end.
You watch him, like, quote unquote, coming up with ideas with his like whole group.
Yeah.
And midway through, like, a guy just goes on a cryptocurrency like tangent, just like trying to like tell him all the new cryptos that he needs to get into. Like video ideas that are just like very like lowbrow, quick and easy stuff that like don't need a whole
it's
office
not funny what the Sam Hyde group is talking about at all. It makes you uncomfortable.
Yes.
And you watch his girlfriend, who clearly seems like she's like fucked up and like on drugs, and she has a shaved head, she has piercings, all in, like, it's like it really made, and like your eyes are like Idubbbz, because he doesn't like, he's just as uncomfortable as the viewer. He's kind of like he's like your protagonist of the story.
There's like a security guard there, and they live in Maine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So then you have this sit-down documentary, or like sit-down interview between Idubbbz and Sam Hyde about like 30 or 40 minutes into it. And like, it's finally revealed that Sam Hyde has been like making up the entire thing.
Well, it starts with it comes out that Idubbbz' first interaction with Sam Hyde was a negative reaction. It was a negative interaction where Idubbbz got copyright strike
about 4 years prior.
4 years prior, on a video that he made about one of Sam Hyde's like things that he was doing at the time. And in response, Sam Hyde emailed him saying, if you can squat 200 pounds below parallel,
he'll lift the copyright strike. It's such a funny thing.
And Sam Hyde's response goes, well, if you'd be a lot stronger if you would have just done that. Why did you do it?
Essentially, yeah, it's I love exactly how he says it. He's like, yeah, you told me if I could squat below parallel 200 pounds, he would lift the copyright strike. And then Sam Hyde goes, did you do it? And Idubbbz says, no. And he's like, why not? You would have been much stronger. Like, he asks him.
Yeah.
Never did it.
But so then Idubbbz isn't a person to hold really like grudges or anything. He obviously forms opinions on people.
Yeah, I'm sure he was upset in the moment.
Yes, but he genuinely was curious about this guy, and I don't think that he had ill intentions of painting him in a negative light.
So
but
now
then Sam Hyde takes that.
In this interview moment, right?
You see this turn.
Sam Hyde is like, oh no, Idubbbz is trying to like get me. For this, like, he is now under the impression.
It is a sudden, you can literally see it. It's a sudden realization where he thinks, like, it's not even a realization, because what he thinks, I think, from my opinion, is just incorrect. He believes that Idubbbz is then trying to dupe him.
Right. That is, you can see it in his face, and he's like saying like, I wish it wasn't like a got me thing. Like, he's telling Idubbbz, he's like, I wish you would have told me that we had the static beforehand.
I wish we could have squashed it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because now he thinks that's the whole reason why Idubbbz is there. He's to like make fun of him and like say like kind of like hold it over him. Mm-hmm. And it really was just like an in-depth look. But then he reveals that this whole...
And then it turns, and there's a question where Idubbbz had been holding it off for a long time, and he goes, well, tell me about
your girlfriend.
Like, and he's
like doing
why
drugs.
Why don't you like get her help? And he goes, why would I? I just met her like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Like, it comes out that the girlfriend that was there that looked like she was on drugs was a hired actor that shaved her head moments just before the Idubbbz coming, just acted strung out the entire time, was telling Idubbbz on the side that like Sam Hyde beats the shit out of her and stuff like that.
Right, just lying and like making you as uncomfortable as him.
Yeah.
And I just like...
In Sam Hyde's documentary, you can see that, like, also things that, like, Idubbbz clearly wasn't showing that much and putting much light on was that they were just slamming beers and just, like, getting hammered at this
Also
office.
playing copyrighted music all throughout the offices to like
fuck up his audio, which then didn't really affect Idubbbz because Idubbbz just cut around it.
yeah.
Sam Hyde's documentary just had dog shit audio the entire time.
So that is pretty much it from the Idubbbz review. I just want to say I thought it was really funny. Mm-hmm. That all of a sudden I'm now like a huge fan of the Sam Hyde guy because I know that
Because you're a bigot.
it's because I'm racist and I like it.
And you're hyper conservative. Love your guns.
Oh yeah, that's a hilarious thing. Whenever there's a school shooting, the internet will just post a picture
That's
of him.
how I know of him.
We'll just post a picture of him like with him with guns.
Yeah.
And say like known suspect, Sam Hyde. Yeah. And like it because of the internet, it'll always get traction in local media.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it'll be like Sam Hyde does it again.
Yeah, he
Another mass shooting.
Gets away with it again.
And there will be just the comments from his fans are always,
How does
he keep getting away with it? Which just a crazy thing to think that just a mass shooter is a serial mass shooter.
Yeah. So he obviously Andy Kaufman is not Andy Kaufman's like an iconic like comedian force for so many people.
Yeah.
Sam Hyde is not the same level, but it's very Andy Kaufman-esque where
it's very anti-humor.
Extremely. It's so anti-humor that it's almost not funny sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it's what did he call it? Anti-irony? That
Idubbbz explains like jokes, irony,
circle of irony,
and then he puts Sam Hyde in a position where it's so meta, so ironic that eventually he's just donating to the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah,
for the joke, but like it's like there's actual money going to that. So like who's the who you making fun of now?
So I have takeaways from it because I did watch both.
Sure.
The thing that I like and kind of don't like about it, it does make it good because clearly Idubbbz has changed as a person and as a content creator.
Right.
Sam Hyde, I think this is some of like what I will say is assumptions and my takeaways of the two videos. Sam Hyde, I don't think realizes that Idubbbz has made that jump to like serious like documentary making.
Yeah.
And that's what he was going for, was strictly there to figure out about Sam Hyde. And because of that, Sam Hyde had no idea about him because I think that he only watched the Dax,
Dax Flame
documentary where they did a bit at the end. He did genuinely do a like really good documentary about Dax Flame, but then did a bit at the end. And I think that all he took from that was the bit, and he was like, oh, I need to feed Idubbbz bits.
Well, he also thought it was going to be really funny, which it is funny.
It is.
But Idubbbz was really not looking for
to the point where
bits.
I don't know if you got to this point. Idubbbz just like wasn't even going to release it.
Yeah, I did know that.
Like Sam Hyde released his a month before him.
Just to like put pressure on him?
Not just that, he was like,
oh, hey, I know what it was. Yeah.
He was like, I have like a week of like guys that like I just was hiring on. I bought like he rented like a Raptor thing, like one of those fucking
he needed to
three-wheel fucking cars.
He needed to like coop the losses that he made on a video.
Well, not even that. He just wanted to like create something because he had put so much time. He's like the $20,000 or whatever that I had in expenses on it was whatever, but like I took a week of like people's time I think to create something from it. So he releases it like a month beforehand. And it is funny that there is just like clearly there was two completely different wavelengths on so many different levels.
Yeah.
On top to bottom where like I think that Sam Hyde genuinely thought that he understood Idubbbz and what Idubbbz was going for and was like trying to add to it but completely missed the mark, but it was in such a funny way. Like he also
I mean, the amount of effort to like make somebody believe that your entire
what was
life
the
is
nails
somewhere.
joke?
Which one?
What did he? What?
It was like you gonna get her help for like doing drugs, and he was like, she doesn't do drugs, she does hair.
She does hair.
Yeah,
which was very funny. Which was like the big payoff. Like it was like a huge, like 40-minute setup for one punchline.
Right.
And
I really hope people watch it because like we're really ruining a lot of like the below parallel shit is so funny.
Yeah.
Like she does hair. That's hilarious.
Yes.
To like make a woman shave her head and like say he beats me and like gets me drugs.
Yeah.
Just to like be like duped is so good.
After he had like previously told him like that he's like completely sober, like that he does nothing. That's something that's also slept on, is that on their car ride while he has him in this like muscle car and just like zooming down fucking side streets at like 100 miles an hour, he's just like, yeah, I'm completely sober, I don't do any drugs.
Do you remember his comedian friend with the shaved head where like he's known Sam Hyde the longest?
Yeah.
So him and Sam do a podcast together. I think his name is Nick.
Okay.
So
they had the show on Adult Swim together.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
He essentially like I don't know any of these people right before this. Mm-hmm. I just watched like a podcast with like Shane Gillis in them. So like, you know, you're like, oh, that's a real comedian. That's a guy.
Yeah.
Their podcast also is like Patreon blocked. It's like not on anything. It's not on Spotify. You have to. So like I didn't buy it. I just found it.
Yeah.
Like that guy who's like his like right hand man. Like they don't even have enough money to like live. He's like a car salesman on the side.
Really?
Yeah. He like sells cars on top of doing all their like whatever that I don't even know what they do without like the show or like.
That's goofy because he says that one. I'm pretty sure that Sam Hyde's still like a millionaire though.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, he says that. He goes, like in his own thing, he goes, it was just so surprising to me that he thought that I had that office. Like, I'm a millionaire. Like, what?
Right.
Like, I mean, the guy, like, was definitely successful to get an Adult Swim show at one point. And it was like a very like at the time was a successful Adult Swim show.
That I'd never heard of. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, me neither, I guess. But like the numbers that it did was like very, like enough where it shouldn't have been canceled.
Well,
for anything other
Shane
than
Gillis,
like,
he goes on it like he was a fan of both of them.
Yeah.
So it's clear, like he has a fan. They have a fan base. Like they're clearly like, they're doing something right. You know, maybe it's propagating a little bit of, but if it's like, I mean, they're just joking.
Yeah, they're just joking. But I mean, they also do just blatantly just say like stuff that like retard a bunch.
Right.
Like
Nick was saying in the podcast with Shane and them, they were like, David Duke messaged them, the leader of the Ku Klux Klan.
Really?
Yeah. And Sam was like, what do we do? And he's like, I'll tell you what you don't do. You're not going to message him. And like, he had to like tell him, like, you can't. Because this guy is just like, he'll just befriend David Duke because he thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I'll tell you what you don't do.
So that is where Idubbbz doesn't understand, and I don't think anybody really gets it besides maybe his friend Nick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find him like a really interesting character.
Yeah.
And something I can't be because there's no chance that you're gonna find me befriending David Duke, but you know what I mean?
That clearly like ruins people. Like if that misses, it ruins your life too, though.
Which is what happened essentially for him. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, although he is on this downswing, the guy is still obviously successful to an extent.
Yeah, I think the Idubbbz thing helped. You know,
yeah,
I mean, it got me and you to like be like fans of him. You know, any like, you know, any exposure is like good exposure.
Fans. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm a fan currently.
I'm interested to see what that guy does.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch him. Mm-hmm. It's funny because you know who actually it got me onto more of recently is Tim Heidecker. is because
Tim Heidecker's pretty good.
Tim Heidecker dislikes
Sam Hyde?
and
Really?
was a main like component in him
Of getting it kicked off?
getting him kicked off of
That is really... I got to imagine, like, usually when you're on Adult Swim
Yeah.
and you're, like, in that kind of world and, like, you like that kind of humor, Tim Heidecker and Tim and Eric, that's, like, your idol.
Yeah. Tim and Eric, not what I've been watching recently. It's Tim and Greg on cinema. Have you ever seen this?
No.
It's just like you'd love it.
I mean, I like Tim Heidecker anytime I see him.
Think about it like this. It's just like our podcast when we talk about movies, but like better. Like really good.
Right. Like one with guy, people with talent.
Yeah. Like one guy, pretty much just us with talent. And they just, it's like one guy just like going, yeah, fucking Lord of the Rings is shit. It's fucking garbage. All I'm saying is this year at the Oscars, all I want is less Lord of the Rings. And then the other guy, Greg, who's not to, he just goes, I actually kind of like The Hobbit. And he just is, it's kind of one of those things you got to watch.
Speaking of podcasts, I just watched this one. Mm-hmm. It is great. Okay. I was completely unexpected. So, my favorite comedian of all time.
Dave Chappelle. No, Bill Burr.
Last guess. Come on. You're close. You named two, right?
Yeah. Louis C.K.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's probably my number one, right?
That's probably your number one, yeah.
He doesn't really do...
He just doesn't do much anymore, so it's hard for me to say.
Correct. He doesn't do much, right? For one, the whole masturbating thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
All right.
Probably stops it. And also, he used to do so much. It was like new comedy special every year.
New TV show.
Television show.
Producing a new show. Even if he wasn't releasing something, he had his fucking...
His television show, he would like write, direct, edit, act in. Like he did all of it. It was crazy. Yes. Anyways, so when he does a podcast, I've noticed this. He'll never do a podcast with like the big guys.
Yeah.
Like he will never do a classic comedy podcast.
Like
ever.
He won't do Mark Maron. He won't do...
He's done Mark Maron, right?
Oh, has he?
Because he did Mark Maron because him and Mark's friendship had fractured to a point where they weren't friends anymore. And that whole episode is about their history as friends and like what happened to them.
Why did they drift apart?
Because
masturbation?
Well before that. It was because Mark resented Louis for becoming great. And Mark was nowhere in his career.
Oh.
So that one he did, right? And it's like a great pot. Anyways.
Yes.
So and he also he does like podcasts for comedians that he likes. So like he did Joe List. Do you know who that is?
No.
Right. Joe List is like he was on Rogan, right? He's a New York guy. It's usually New York guys he does.
Okay.
And it won't be about comedy. It'll be about his interests. So they did a podcast
kind of like who was that guy from SNL that we were like very excited to see on Joe Rogan, and he just did his fucking vodka the entire
Dan
time.
Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd.
Right.
Okay, I think I've seen this guy before.
Right, you've seen Joe List.
Yeah.
He's like a skinny guy with glasses.
Yeah, I saw one of his like 5 minutes on.
So they did the podcast about Stanley Kubrick. They picked 3 of his films and they all broke it down. And when Louis has like an interest in something, he's like really he like romanticizes it. He's a storyteller. He tells it very well, right? Mm-hmm. Great good listen as well. When the other 2 guys talk, it's like bullshit, but like so he is on Shane Gillis's podcast. Shane and his friend, their secret podcast. He mentions it all the time.
The one that they like just go on anti-rape.
That's the one.
Rants.
That's it.
And that's what Louis C.K. came on to talk about, was just how much he hates Asians.
It was titled like the president's episode, right? And Shane starts it off by saying, like, this is a history podcast. We're talking about every American president. And then, like, he goes on and he lists every single president by name, 1 through 47, right? In a row.
Shane Gillis does?
Shane Gillis does every one. And I'm like, okay, this is just a joke. They're going to get into, like... And then they break down every single president through Lincoln. And it is, like, riveting, really interesting, because Shane Gillis is a history major, and Louis loves American presidents. No joke.
That's good.
It is great. And, like, they, like, joke.
What about the third guy?
Oh, it's, yeah, well, his friend, like, will throw in, like, nice asides. He knows when to, like, not talk and not step over, like, interesting points. He's just additive, and he's there kind of, like, to listen, because he doesn't have the same interest as it.
Or knowledge.
And I don't want to, like, step over anything. I just want to, like, bring up something that I never knew about presidents.
Okay.
So when thinking about the founding fathers, right?
Yes.
Like, you've always heard this joke that when they created the Declaration of Independence, it's a Daniel Tosh joke. All men are created equal. But you know what we mean, right? Yeah. Because they all had slaves, right?
Yes.
And, like, slavery. And that's what I always thought the joke was, right? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, we're not really gonna... Not all men are equal, you know? Yeah. So, they, when creating, like, the Declaration of Independence and making the country, like the founding fathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, these guys, they wanted to free the slaves. They wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. But they also knew that if they wanted like a country, right, like a nation, that there was no fucking chance that the South would ever free the slaves. Not at that time. They were like, we can't. They're like, that was crazy talk, right?
Yeah.
So they were like, we have to design a system of a country that can change slowly, and like, it isn't like, nothing is like
set in stone.
Set in stone.
But they throw subtle hints at it.
And the idea is that maybe not today, but one day we can change and we can get better. That's why it was designed to be, like, built that way. And, like, I didn't know that was, like, in the back pocket. Because if you... Really? I mean, Abraham Lincoln, everybody...
What number is he?
16.
16.
When he was getting elected, right, mm-hmm. he wasn't even on, like, the South's ballots, because none of them. They were like, no fucking chance.
Yeah.
And they were telling him, you will never be president. And the first thing he said when he got in office is that, like, I will not be freeing the slaves, and if they run off, we will get them for you. That's basically what he said, right?
Okay.
That was never the truth.
Yeah.
He always wanted to free the slaves, but that's just like, they had to. And I'm not trying to say, like, these guys aren't like
they clearly owned slaves. They were definitely
100%.
Yes.
And Thomas Jefferson, based on what these guys were saying, was one of the biggest hypocrites, right? He was a guy who was like, we need to free the slaves, like, we need to do it, like, but also, like, he was banging his slaves and like having children with them. Yeah. And they're like, Dad, can we be free? And he's like, no fucking chance you're gonna be free. Like, they would just stay slaves.
Yeah.
And another, like, great thing that I never knew about Thomas Jefferson, he was constantly doing things that he was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm such a hypocrite. But, like,
yeah,
he was somebody who was like, the states must have power. The federal government, like, cannot just, like, be overarching, and the presidency should be just that. Like, it should just be you're presiding over Congress and making sure that, like, we are for the people, right?
Yeah.
The president isn't a king. He believed that. Mm-hmm. So he sent James Monroe over to France, right? To, like, he's going to, like, hey, New Orleans, the New Orleans port, I'm sending James Monroe. We're gonna go buy that land. And James Monroe was like, they're fucking selling New Orleans to the Rocky Mountains and everything in between. Like, it's the Louisiana Purchase, right?
Yeah.
And like Thomas Jefferson was like, well, fucking, we're gonna buy it all. Like, they didn't have enough time to like go to Congress and go through the loops. That is literally what he should have done. And he was constantly doing like, the president shouldn't do this, but we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
And that's just
fucking buy it.
Yes.
Fucking give me it.
So these are like Louis was like, the reason why I love presidents is that without like any political like takes on it, they're just really interesting character. Like they all did horrible things and great things. It's a great listen. I've listened to it twice today because of how like
I plan on probably listening to it when I lie down.
It is good. It's really and I don't know. It's not all like, I'm sure like some things are a little not factual, but the things that I Googled from like Shane Gillis, I mean, he's a history major. Like, they weren't wrong.
Yeah. The point that you brought up that I do like is that like really when you do look back on them, they are just like characters because you don't have a political, like right now, right? If you ask somebody about Obama, there is a lot of skewed opinions on him.
Sure.
And just like throughout his presidency, even Bush, even you go back.
I think if you go, the last president for us at least, if you go before Clinton, then they kind of like,
they start just becoming characters.
Right, exactly.
Because political
there's enough time.
just weren't the same thing.
There's
there
enough time.
was a Whig party back then. Like, what the fuck is that? Nobody knows.
I don't know.
The Republicans are what the Democrats are now, and the Democrats are what the Republicans were then. Like, it's all flopped since like the original. So like, it is kind of cool that like when you do remove that, put that aside, your thoughts on a person. Like, I wonder what we're going to say about like Donald Trump and like.
I'd love to have like time away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're too close. Like. Oh yeah. People are still too emotionally
invested. Like, are they
invested.
going to talk about like how funny he was or what?
I would love to know. It's too
It's just a history book, and it just has like pictures of tweets in it.
I mean, that's literally gonna be
like legitimately. There's gonna be so many like I love Mexicans.
What is the?
Like,
I know
with the Taco Bowl.
With the Taco Bowl. Yeah. What's the national like library like in DC that like it? There is. It's literally called something, right? It's like the National Library that has like all like important and all of Trump's tweets are documented.
Really?
100% of them.
That's funny.
As like the president. And
it's legitimately like, I can see it now. It's just like a history book, and it's going to have like, it's like a picture in the history book, and it's just going to be like one of his tweets, like
where he literally like was clearly passing out and like just tweeted by accident. Yeah. It's like he tweeted like random letters, and then he's so vain and like hilarious that he couldn't just been like, I don't know, I just fucking fell asleep. He was like 40 chess, you know what I mean? Like it'll play out somehow. Just pretending like it meant something.
Imagine having like a whole history lesson on that just for it to come out. Yeah, it meant nothing.
Right.
It meant nothing.
Right. That's true. Yes, it's gonna be that. So what? How many presidents is Clinton back for us? So we have Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, and then who do we have right before Clinton?
George H.
Is it George H?
I think so.
Where does Jimmy Carter get in there?
Not sure.
So what? About 5 presidents back. That's usually they stop becoming like.
I feel like people still don't like Jimmy Carter and shit.
No, people like Jimmy Carter.
Do they?
Yeah, because he like went around saving the world.
He reads books.
He he started like fighting viral diseases after his presidency.
Oh really?
I think. List.
I'm not sure. I just remember that George H. Bush like went skydiving while fully paraplegic.
1-term president. Did he really?
I think so.
Yeah, you're right. It was sorry, yeah, it's Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, and then Bush again. Reagan, and then Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter was a while ago.
Yes. Yeah, people like Jimmy Carter, even though he was like a do nothing.
People hate Reagan though.
Nowadays, yeah. Even though, like, at the time, he won every single state in the country. Every single one.
Yeah, and come to find out now, it goes, that's probably like a perfect, is Reagan. Like, you fully take away, like, the, like, aspect of, like, what party they are and all that, and who they are as a person. Like, nobody knows who Reagan is, like, as a person. Like, back then they were like, oh, he's a movie star or whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh yeah, he just like planted drugs and fucking AIDS like everywhere.
Well, no, he didn't. He was part of the Red Scare, where he would you're a communist, fuck you, like he was that.
No, he like created like fucking like the lower class and shit.
He probably did that too.
Yeah, he was like I don't know like everything about it, but
I know that he was the president during the AIDS epidemic, right?
Yeah,
and
he created that.
And I think when he was asked, like, if your kid's school, right? If there was found out that a kid there had AIDS, would you let your kid go to that school, right? And he was like, no chance. 0 chance, right? But that was at the time when, like, everybody thought AIDS was, like, traveled through the air and was killing people, killing the gays, obviously, like, crazy, but killing everybody. So, just a lot of fear in the country. And with, like, revisionist history, people very much look at Reagan like he was just a negative force to the country. But at the time, everybody loved him.
Yeah.
It was Reagan's America. When Reagan got shot, he got shot bad, right? He almost died.
When did he get shot?
It was the assassination attempt when he was in office, right?
I didn't know that.
I think he got shot because somebody watched the movie Silence of the Lamb and then used that as, like, justification.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, right? So when Reagan goes to the hospital, right? He asks the doctor. He's like, "Are you Democrat?" And today the doctor is like, "Today we're all American, baby." Like, everybody loved Reagan.
Really?
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
You know that Theodore Roosevelt got shot in Milwaukee.
I didn't know it was in Milwaukee, but yeah, the speech, and then he had the thick ass speech and
in his like metal glasses case. Yeah.
And then finished it.
I hate watching you struggle with that thing.
Then don't pay attention to it. And then Andrew Jackson, the greatest president of all time.
Just a straight up killer.
Literally
a hitter.
Shot.
He'll pull up on you in broad daylight.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you want a duel?
Yeah.
You're not gonna duel?
Hey,
that's where you lost.
Hey, I banged your wife.
Mm-hmm. Let's duel.
You're mad about it?
Let's duel.
We'll duel. We'll duel for her.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even want her. She's that dupe.
He was based on what they were saying, he was the first bully president. He was the first Trump.
Really?
Because the president before him, the way Louis goes, he was like, that's how it goes. It was just cowboys and nerds.
Yeah.
It was like, you would get these presidents who were nerds, who the people didn't like, but they got shit done. They'd put their heads down and would, like, do well. And then you would get
this guy was a legitimate cowboy, just murdering cowboys.
And then you would get cowboys where everybody in America, he was the first president that people seen. Because trains didn't exist, really. So he was the first president that could, like, travel through the country, and he felt that it was...
And he used that to murder across the nation.
Oh, what did you say?
Hey, Mr. Jackson, the senator in Wyoming is talking shit about you.
Oh, duel. Duel me.
I will pull up on your block right now. And then that's how we got the railroads to Wyoming.
I mean, yeah, he was towering over
they were
people.
Just laying down railroads for Jackson to go murder somebody in the new town.
You know how we bailed out the banks in 2008?
Okay, yeah.
They essentially needed that at the time, right?
Yes.
And essentially if they didn't do that, the country was gonna, like, tank. The economy was fucked. Right? Yes. He hated the banks, and he was like, good. Like, the whole country was like, okay, pass this bill.
Yeah.
Veto. And they did tailspin the whole economy because he vetoed it.
Really?
The banks all failed thanks to him.
And this wasn't thought up here like out of anything other than he probably had beef with one of the fucking owners.
Louis goes, it's so crazy that we put him on the $20 bill because he hated the banks.
That's funny.
Dude, Andrew Jackson is literally my favorite president.
I don't know that much about him, but I did a whole paper on him.
Yeah, you mean he is hilarious, dude. Mm-hmm. That guy, he just like fucking, and I guess during like the political debates, this is when it got dirty. He was like writing shit on the lies in the paper. Just he didn't give a fuck about what happened after. He didn't care about like the state of the country. He cared about winning. He cared about being on top.
Yeah,
that's who this guy was.
You ever think about we never hear these presidents' voices either? Like, what if like some of these motherfuckers just sounded like dorks, right? Like,
yeah, that guy probably didn't sound like a dork.
Probably didn't. No, that guy probably had a thundering,
but like James Monroe probably sounded like a dork.
He probably had like a thundering voice that like struck fear in people, and he also had a gun that struck fear in people.
Yeah, he was like he's the funniest president.
Did they like him a lot? Like when they talked about him?
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time on that guy?
They liked there wasn't a person they disliked.
Really?
Everybody they liked. Right, because it's just, it tells...
Well, there had to have been some, clearly, that they brushed past quicker.
Right, because, well, I'll give you one. I can't remember the guy's name, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, he's the greatest. Everybody was like, you can't be president. You're too old and, like, run down. Like, you're gonna fucking... What? Like, you don't show strength as an American president. And he was like, that's fine. I'll show you. And at the inauguration, what is it? Inauguration. It was like a 3-hour speech, but it was like cold and like windy.
He got pneumonia, right?
And died.
Yeah.
Right away.
Right away. That, actually.
Right away.
I forgot who it was, but I did know about that.
Yeah, he's like, I will show these people what an American... Just dies. Just dies.
So that one was quick.
So then the next president is like the first president. Like, we've not... Like, what do we do, vice president? Like, we've never had somebody just die.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, like, are you just like acting president until we figure this out? And he goes, no, I am president. That's just how it... So he had to figure something out, right?
Yeah.
He goes, no, this is me. You didn't vote for me? I'm it.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Speaking of presidents, speaking of vice presidents, I came across a video that really made me laugh on Twitter. And it was... it's crazy that our vice president was just one of Montel's side hosts. Montel... Right. I think it's Montel... I don't even know what his last name is. He just had a talk show in like the early 2000s. He was just like a hip guy at the time.
Sure.
That like was very popular.
Yep.
One of those red carpet guys that every time that he came down the red carpet, everybody had to interview him. When he came down the red carpet,
two bad little bitches.
He would have two bad bitches.
Yeah.
You know, always two bitches.
Yeah. Right along.
One of those happened to be Kamala Harris,
the vice president,
our now vice president. Somebody tweeted that video and said, "That's crazy that Kamala is just one of Montel's side hosts," because he literally was holding two girls' hands.
Yeah,
one of them being Kamala Harris.
Hell yeah,
fuck it.
It is what it is, you know.
I fuck with it. And she was a bad little thing too.
I think we have nailed it. What do we got in time? Yeah, we're at RL3.
Nice.
Okay. Feels good to be back. Feels good.
Welcome back. How's it feel to be back?
$1.05, I think.
$1.03. $1.03.